I've been with TDX ever since it first released over a year ago. Throughout its lifetime, it's had many updates that add new content to the game. Many of these being new towers. However, I feel like something was not considered when balancing these towers and how that has affected the direction the game has gone in. It's the reason why towers are restricted when playing the event modes, and why you rarely see some of the older towers being used by people these days. These issues are mostly the side effect of the tower cost balancing issue. Wow, so balanced, guys. Totally no power creep. When I say tower cost, I don't mean the unlock requirements, just to be clear. What I'm referring to are the tower placements and the tower upgrade costs. So to start this off, how about we go to the beginning when TDX was still fresh off release. Back then, we only had less than half the towers we do now. Each tower had a specific role it could fill with only some occasional overlap in uses, but nothing too bad that you could say that a tower was completely useless. Juggernaut, having the highest late game potential at the time, with its high HP and high DPS, naturally cost a lot of cash to place down, so that you couldn't rely on it at all until you started getting decent cash around the mid game of every mode. So fast forward to today. How did we get to this point? Towers like Juggernaut and Operator always feel tedious to use compared to newer towers like Golden Ranger and Ghost, and also late game towers they shouldn't even be competing against like Heli and Combat Drone. First, let's talk about the non-late game tower side of things. Anyone who has gotten to the mid game of TDX's grind knows that some towers like Ghost almost has the same role as Operator, but with just more bells and whistles. While you could argue Operator has a stronger early game, this is pretty much nothing compared to Ghost's late game potential. The fact that Ghost can even go toe to toe with Operator in the early game while having a similar role should be considered a bad thing, because that means that Ghost can pretty much be used in place of it while also having more utility, which means Operator just becomes pointless to use. The only reason why you would use him over Ghost would be for modes that have really strict eco, which there's basically none of, and the stun immunity, which, to be honest, doesn't do much because you can avoid stuns most of the time by placing towers farther away from the track, or just not clumping all of your towers in one spot. To anyone saying, it's only natural since Ghost is harder to unlock compared to Operator, the dev team clearly wants each tower to have their own use and don't want to just replace the cheaper towers with their more expensive counterparts, aka power creeping old towers. While stats and cost efficiency wise this is mostly the case, towers like Operator and Juggernaut are still underutilized despite that, because setting them up is just more tedious and they usually aren't as versatile too. For the late game towers like Heli and Combat Drone, it's the same story but just 10 times worse. They sort of did the right thing by setting their tower costs decently high at around 3k for the placement costs, and having really high upgrade costs to balance their utility. But unless you're playing a quad game, you can still get enough money to just skip out on the mid-game money-saving phase that you'd have to do for towers like Juggernaut. By the way, I just want to point out how stupid it is that Combat Drone costs half the amount to place down compared to Juggernaut, effectively making it somewhat viable before you even dream of placing down a single Juggernaut, despite being way more versatile at base level. Having to control it manually at this phase of the game is also not that much of a drawback, unless you're playing on mobile, I guess, since you don't have to micro as much anyway, even an expert. My suggestion for fixing this issue is just to not think of adding towers that have similar price ranges, especially for early game, if they work similarly. Either just commit to them being more expensive overall, or just give them a unique drawback, kinda like what they did with XWM with its dynamic price upgrade. For Ghost, this could take the form of having really long burst cooldowns, which prevent it from dealing with hordes that have more than a handful of zombies at a time, so that you can't entirely rely on it for the early game and make it more risky to use. even if it has the exact same DPS as it does right now. As for the late game towers like Combat Drone, the easiest fix is just rebalancing the prices to make the placement cost just way higher. It has no business being an early mid-game tower, since that only makes it able to handle most phases of the game, which is a bad thing since people who have it become overly reliant on it, which takes away all strategy needed for the game. Try matchmaking with randoms at a high level and you'll see what I mean. That's why they nerfed it for the event mode specifically. If you need to restrict towers for specific modes that are just fine with others, then clearly there's something questionable about the balancing.
Alright bro, so it's time to test Operator out. For this test, I'm gonna be using the same loadout, and Operator and Ghost are the only ones that are gonna be switched out. I'm also gonna be playing on the same map and on intermediate mode. So yeah, let's begin. Don't mind the unloaded UI. I can't really fix that. Oh, I upgraded the wrong thing. Okay, don't mind that. Who cares about some leaks? These skins, I can explain. Okay, stealth detection, of course. My secondary DPS is gonna be Grenadier because there are some bullet resistant enemies, and both Ghost and Operator don't really have ignore resistance, so yeah. I'll try to keep Operator and Ghost the main DPS though. I don't exactly remember when the bullet resistant enemies come out, so I'm just gonna place this here. Yeah. Probably should place a few more Grenadiers. Let's try placing some bottom paths too. Really gotta deal with these, bro. Let's try placing it back here. Yeah, that should be enough for us to survive. These still are doing a large part of the damage though. Damn, bro, how long are those guys taking, bro? That's crazy, bro. The Humvee took care of them. Alright. Let's get some bottom paths for the Humvees, fam. Eradicator's gonna be coming here soon. It's intermediate on the second round, I guess. Alright, time for Ghost. But I'll just summarize what basically happened. So, yeah, Ghost is definitely way better than Operator. Way better than Operator in terms of intermediate, at least. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at right now, so okay, there we go, it's loaded. Oh my god, I leaked 2 of them. Blame that on the laptop. Okay, that was not Ghost's fault. Last time it didn't leak at all. Like literally 0 leaks. The only thing that leaked were the bullet resistant enemies because of course I didn't place the Grenadiers early enough. But yeah, any non-bullet resistant enemies just get shredded by this. You might think that's a great counter, but that also applies to Operator, so if Ghost is struggling, then Operator is struggling way more. I'm gonna place the same amount of grenadiers with the same upgrades as last time, just to be fair. Yeah, once you get to this upgrade, it pretty much shreds most of the enemies. Wow, so balanced, guys. Totally no power creep. Wow, look at that. Stealth detection and air targeting. Wow. And it's also stealth, so any enemies like Predator won't be able to target it. How amazing. So yeah, I recorded this. I'm recording this after I recorded the voiceover, so yeah, it's even worse than I stated earlier. So amazing work, balancing team. There's totally no power creep in our game. What's that? Operator is more cost efficient? Well, look at this. I was looking at the TDX wiki and it showed that operator might have been a bit more cost efficient in some areas, but like, come on, look at this. If there weren't any bullet resistant enemies, I'm pretty sure Ghost could shred all of this by itself. Like, these costs actually might be too low. Like, damage wise, maybe you could argue that the price is fair, but like, look at this versatility. I mean, Operator can also target air enemies, but it's literally the last upgrade of the bottom path. Like, that's just not fair. Are we really sure this is what direction we want to take this game in? Okay, so now it's time to spam ghosts. Almost a bit too easy compared to using Operator. Now I have the drone. Wow, look, it reveals stealth enemies. Wow, guys, it's so fair. Ghost has all of these utilities, has almost the same amount of the same upgrade prices as Operator for the early upgrades. Like, why would I use freaking Operator over this? It's almost brain dead to even think that. Oh, something leaked. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Oh, yeah, the drone has bullet pierce, by the way. Totally balanced, I know. Wow, look at this DPS, guys. Oh. Minor roadblock. John roadblock. Are you seeing this, John roadblocks? Are you seeing what I'm doing to your game right now? Oh, it's just intermediate mode. Well, we've seen the comparison with Operator. Clearly, this is not balanced. Oh, okay, Eradicator, next wave. Just put some baits. Still gonna target my stuff though. Goes so balanced, guys. Wow. Sorry for such a goober, but like, look at this. So yeah, actually using it properly for this one. Minor inconvenience. I don't even need to sell the old ones. It is more than enough to shred it. Wow, guys, so balanced, guys. Yeah, so yeah, clearly Ghost is just way better in all cases. It has more utility, it has more detections. You can literally put another one of it out here, and it also has bullet pierce, and it can reveal stealth for other towers. So and it can also stealth itself and other towers. I mean, stealthing is not that good, but all of those combined, like, come on. This is stupid. That concludes the testing. John, do something, please. Okay, go.
While late game towers being more convenient to use isn't a bad thing, making them too versatile puts the game a bit too close to the edge of just having outright power creep, or just having level-based progression, which makes the strategy of the game more about how long you've grinded rather than putting in an assortment of puzzle pieces in different ways to achieve the same goal in different scenarios. I hope the dev team takes this into account, especially with the upcoming Nightmare mode and all the towers coming with it. They seriously need to choose if they want to go through the TDS route of just making it grind to win progression, or to keep its mostly strategic identity and give each tower its own purpose. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Like and sub if you want to support my channel. Bye.